It is Thursday, the 26th of January 2023. This is Propaganda Watch, the show that takes a look at the front pages of the day to see what BS propaganda the mainstream media are ramming down your throat. Let's start today with the Daily Telegraph. Baffling Brexit plan undermines the UK, says M&S chief. Looking at a bit of a theme here. Fear, doubt. Again, it's almost like Britain bashing, isn't it? You can't do Brexit. Brexit won't work. You can't go out on your own. I don't know whether or not Brexit will work. We've only realistically left the EU just a couple of years ago. And we will have to see, won't we? Let's move now to the Daily Mirror. World united against evil. With a picture of Joe Biden's face. What are they trying to what are they trying to tell us here? Are they trying to tell us Joe Biden is the evil? When you look at it without looking at it in context, that's kind of what you could get from this. Allies send tanks to fight Russians. Zelensky's praise for military boost. Look at the way they frame this. They are framing it as if you are in World War III, this is World War III, because they're now calling people the Allies. That was the name given to the collective West against Germany during World War II, and now we're seeing that in the media. I've only seen the media call these people allies, by the way, or the Allies, and it's being repeated, and you'll see this, it's being repeated across the papers as well. Almost like, as I said in yesterday's show, they're told what to report in lockstep. Here we have another example with the Daily Mail. Finally, the West unites to defend freedom. 2 days after Boris's "What the hell are we waiting for?" rallying cry in the Mail, America and Germany follow UK in making historic pledge to supply Ukraine with tanks. It's more fear porn, it's more disaster porn, it's more clickbait, it's more war, negativity. I mean, they try and frame it as positivity, but really it's be afraid, we're at war. And the media are really poking this bear. Moving now to the I newspaper, you will see exactly what I meant when I said that looks like they're kind of in lockstep, as we have allies send tanks to hold back Putin as war escalates. They're being told what to write, obviously, and they're being told what propaganda to ram down your throat. The media want a war. They want World War III because war with the media is good for business. Guess who doesn't want a war? Me, you, your children. We don't want a war because it's not good for us. You're going to get war declared on the West by Russia, and then ultimately by Russia and China. Because do you think China's going to sit back and not ally with Russia? We shall see. Check this one out. Check this bit of fear propaganda out from the Financial Times, really pushing the war narrative now. Lockheed ramps up F-16 production as Ukraine allies debate sending jets. The more and more this stuff is pushed, and the more and more we do, the more and more likely it is that we get dragged into a war. And I don't want that. I don't want that, and I don't think you do either. We have the Metro today, who were, I believe, pretty good yesterday, but we're going for 2 to 3 cops in court a week. And now I've got my own thoughts and feelings about the brutality of certain police officers. But all this does, and it's true, by the way, and it's good that it's being exposed, but all this does is tell people that they can't trust their police force, and they shouldn't trust their police force, and it's, once again, it's just a little bit of that fear bait, that clickbait. Ram it down your throat, click our links, look at what this bad thing's happening here. They're also going with Brad Pitt in his boiler suit here, which is, well, better.
Right, now you can see it.
Well, bloody well. And yes, that was the propaganda video from earlier, because it's relevant to today's date. So John's using them as the pre-rolls now, aren't you, John?
Yes, indeed.
You are. You're using them as the pre-rolls. I'm just repositioning myself. Bloody hell. Is that better for you, John?
No, you've gone too far now.
Okay.
Right, that's
Well,
fine. Just stay there.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. Crone says the propaganda videos are great. Jesse says it's so good. Well, thank you. There was just, it's a little bit of a labour of love, and it's a little bit of extra content just to keep you guys smiling. And also, I think John might try a couple soon.
Anyway, so what's your son wanting to do for his birthday?
Well, my son, right? He comes out this morning with the most pointed, exact thing that he wants to do, and it's completely out of the blue, and we were like, okay, Mummy, Daddy, can I go on the ghost train on Brighton Pier for my birthday? Okay, right? Never shown any interest in going on a ghost train before. Just completely out of the blue. Can I go? So my wife booked train tickets to Brighton this morning for his birthday. Yeah.
When is his birthday?
It's next month.
Okay.
It's actually in about 2.5 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Right. Okay. We'll get on to Putin in Ukraine at some point, Natasha. Don't worry, it is coming.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's always coming. But first, we need to start this morning before we open the show with Justin.
Yeah, I quite like this.
Talk to me about Justin.
Well, this is Justin Trudeau's ego that's tweeted this.
I love that account, by the way.
Yeah. This morning, a reporter asked if I've noticed the shift in tone from Canadians amid my plummeting poll numbers. I mansplained the situation to her, highlighting that she was wrong while gaslighting her line of questioning. Watch my cabinet start nodding as I begin to speak. And it's worth watching the video because Justin does go on about how great he is and how great Canada is and how great they are as a team and how they'll get through this together, and makes
Canada.
no reference to the fact that he's a complete and utter tyrant along the lines of Jacinda Ardern, and probably should have resigned before her because I think he's actually worse.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, but the man is also devoid of self-awareness because he'll sit there and he'll go, we cannot let these tyrants in Iran get away with it. You know, we stand with freedom. Do you stand with freedom? You're the person who had bank accounts taken away from people asking for freedom, you twat.
Yeah, I think he may be a bot. If he wasn't, if you didn't actually see him in real life, you'd think he was a bot or a clone.
You know, Castro Jr. there, really living up to what his alleged father is like. That's all I'm saying.
Castro Jr. Well, I think with that, it's time to introduce the show. So, welcome one and all to this episode 193 of Chasing Dissent Live with me, John, and Ben. Episode 193.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
Well, there you go.
I was wondering if you were going to cue us back in, because I'm not actually hearing the sound from his end, because we had a bit of a technical issue, didn't we, John?
Well, yeah, you say that, but, you know, for the last year where you've been running the show, I've never heard the sound from your end. So I've had to wing it every bloody time.
That's true.
That's true.
I was going to say push the bloody button, just push the button. But where are we starting with the news today? I think we'll start with our thumbnail, shall we?
Going underground? Are we?
Going underground.
Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere else we can start. So Matt Hancock assaulted and called a murderer in packed tube carriage. Okay.
I like the way they've put assaulted in inverted commas there, because they're not even sure whether or not he was actually assaulted, right?
Yeah. I mean, have you reviewed the full video?
I haven't had time. There's a 10-minute. It's a 10-minute video. It's on Rumble. What's the man's name?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. But there's a lot of people saying he wasn't assaulted.
Well, from the snippets that I did see, and I've seen about 2 or 3 minutes of it, I never once saw the man assault Matt Hancock. What I did see was the man himself being assaulted by the tube woman because she was laying hands on him.
Yeah, the man,
she was laying
the man
hands
that was
on him,
filming it. Yeah, and speaking to him. Yeah,
but he's been arrested. He's been arrested on suspicion of assault, and he will, like the Chris Whitty people, probably be found guilty.
So what's he doing on the tube in the first place?
Well, what's Matt Hancock doing? Simply riding around the tube without any protection.
Yeah.
Because remember, he is not just an arsehole with a target painted on his back, metaphorically. Mm-hmm. He is also a celebrity now, because he was just on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Yep.
And he is just sort of doddering around Westminster Tube Station, going around by himself on the tube. He's a bit security conscious, or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Just for starters.
Or is it a setup?
Greg says...
Well, why is he out there on his own? This is the part I just don't get.
Well, I don't get it either. And Greg here says, I know someone who said the whole thing was set up. And we all know a guy, right, who will say something like that.
I know, but I mean, if you think about it, what's he doing on the tube? He's
I
still
don't
a
know.
government. He's still in the government's back benches, right?
Yes.
He
Well, I
knows
don't think he's not technically a Tory at the moment, is he?
Did he lose the whip?
He lost the whip for
Right,
going on
okay,
I'm a
but-
Celebrity.
Yeah, okay. But he knows he's reviled.
Mm.
Okay? So why is he doing this? Is he doing it deliberately for sympathy? Because he knows he's going to get accosted if he goes out on his own.
Well, yeah. And do you know what? There are a lot of people, and he must know it, there are a lot of people angry at him for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
So many different reasons. You know, you've got the people on the, let's say, the other side of the fence to what we sit when it comes to the last 2.5 years, angry at him for breaking his own rules. So let's start there. That's what they're angry at. But then you've got millions of people angry that he forced them into a lockdown, angry that he forced them not to be able to go to family members' funerals. The Midazolam issue, and I can't really expand on that on here. You've got so many people angry at him for so many reasons. You would wonder why he doesn't travel around in an armoured car with personal security at all bloody times.
Yeah, I think you're right. And the thing is, it's like it's going back to what I used to say. If you're not safe to walk around as a member of Parliament, then you're surely not representing the people that elected you.
No, yeah. I wholeheartedly agree with you, and it's something we're going to look at more closely, because I want to see what this man gets charged with. We're going to review the full video, so we can come back to you tomorrow night with that.
Yeah, we'll
in fact, should we watch the full video on tomorrow night's show?
Well, we'll review it first and see. 'Cause it might not be deemed appropriate.
Yes, for
Anyway.
the overlords at YouTube.
Right.
By the way, there's an opportunity to plug Rumble, because if we're not streaming on YouTube, we are streaming on Rumble.
Yeah.
So
we are.
get over and find us, Chasing Dissent Official, over on Rumble, and subscribe there.
But subscribe here as well, because we need your subs on YouTube, because we want to get into the monetization zone, because people are starting to leave us on Patreon.
Yeah, it's upsetting.
Anyway,
We're not
anyone who
providing
does
value.
anyone who does donate to us on patreon.com/Chasing Dissent or on ko-fi.com/Chasing Dissent, we really appreciate what you're doing for us, and we're so over the moon that you're continuing to support us and to keep this on air. Oh, thank you very much. I've just been delivered a coffee. How sweet!
Oh, gee.
How sweet!
Ask your wife where mine is.
Ben wants. Oh, she's away. Right. So, right. This next one, Ben. It's Project Veritas. They're normally not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good, actually.
Is this guy the director of research and development? Can't find them on their website. Can't find them on Pfizer's website. In fact, I'll be honest. There's only one black man on Pfizer's website. And he's a 61-year-old board member, so it's not him.
Well, the thing is, I would say that they've done their due diligence. They always do their due diligence. They pick their targets. They know who they're going after.
Yeah.
And so I would say that maybe they're hamming up that he is the director of research and development. Maybe he's a director of research and development at a certain place. But I would imagine he really works for them. He's really saying this stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe you can't find it because they've quickly scrubbed him.
Or maybe he's just too low down in the hierarchy, because they only list executives, board members, and scientists. So maybe he's just too low down in the hierarchy. But yeah.
Exactly. But I would imagine he genuinely is a Pfizer employee, at least on the research and development team. So I think you can probably take stock in what they've put out is probably real, because. Yeah. This is the organization that has been sued so many times and literally has a wall of their victories because they don't get it wrong.
No, they don't. They are pretty good. We've got to give them credit. They are credit where credit is due. They're sweet.
And if you think we deserve credit where credit is due, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Anyway, let's move on.
And thank you for that illuminating chat, Greg. We'll leave that. I'm not going to read that one out.
I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. Anyway, moving on. Mr. Tate and his brother Tristan. So this is Romania reporting on this. And you've maybe heard about this, that Andrew Tate had been rushed to hospital because he'd been attacked or something like that.
I think it was a heart issue.
Well, the whole thing's confusing, because we don't actually know, but the Russian paper here says that one of the Tate brothers went to hospital for a routine... Sorry, did I say Russian? I meant to say Romanian. This paper here said that one of the Tate brothers was taken to hospital for a routine checkup. Now, that's bull. That's bullshit. You don't send prisoners to hospital for routine checkups. You only send them out of prison if there's something wrong. So something's happened to one of them. He's been to hospital and I think he's back.
And I don't think we've reported this, but their detention has been extended a further 30 days.
Yes, it has, yeah.
Taking them through to the 28th of February. And when we get closer to that time, I imagine we'll see it extended again.
But that'll be the last time, will it?
180 days maximum.
So they can go for another 6 months. They can go for another 4 months.
Yeah, they can just keep extending it.
Okay.
And they probably will, although there is some confusion in this Tate story, because two of the women who say they are named in this thing say they're not victims.
Yep. It's beginning it does sound, I mean, and we said this at the time, it sounds a bit like the Julian Assange Sweden rape thing, the allegations there.
Yeah,
it turned out to be not true.
But what I will say is this. All I see on YouTube, really, with regards to this, and this is people celebrating the downfall of the Tate. Especially Ethan Klein and H3H3 podcast. My God, are they absolutely salivating at the bit for what's happened to the Tates. Now, I'm not saying that they've been rightfully arrested or wrongfully arrested. I'm saying I don't know. But I'm saying there's definitely a lot of evidence to say that Mr. Tate does like to do a bit of pimping. I would say that, considering he's said it himself.
I'd like to say to any lawyers watching that that's purely Ben's personal opinion and does not represent the thoughts and it does not represent the thoughts of Chasing Dissent.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. In my opinion, it certainly looks like Mr. Tate likes to do a bit of pimping. I mean, he's using phraseology like bottom bitch. And that's certainly. Yeah,
but people say a lot of things when they don't think they're being recorded or when they think they're in a private conversation. And you only need to look at Trump for that. You know, grab her by the pussy. Yeah.
And for all we know, he is just hamming it up and, saying, I'm pimping,
yeah, he's
when he's not
man.
really doing so. Anyway, Republicans demand information on Hunter Biden's paintings.
Yeah, the screws are starting to come down on the Biden family, and I think it's probably, as we said yesterday, that they're probably trying to ease Joe away from running again, so as he just becomes a a single-term president so they can put up old Hillary herself.
I think they're not just pushing him to not run again. I think they're pushing him from office.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's face it. He's been in the Senate for 120 years. It's time he left.
Yeah. Because
his words, not mine.
his words.
His words.
We're not joining the Senate 120 years ago. Where's Corn Prop? Let's move on to our Twitter friend Dagny Taggart. What have we got here then?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Just chill me out here. Right, okay. Sorry. So there we go. Dagny, yeah. So Dagny has shown us this lovely picture of the new US ambassador to Russia.
In Moscow.
Lynn Tracy, yeah. So she's a new US ambassador to Moscow now. I'm not quite sure what signal America's trying to send here, right? Because you know Putin. I mean, you know him as much as I do, right? I mean, he's me mate. We go for coffee all the time, John. We have the odd vodka. You wrestle a tiger. That
we
kind
go
of
to
thing.
Stars.
It's bear riding. Not bareback, bales. Anyway, the problem I have here is what kind of message are they trying to send to Putin? Because one, and no apologies, right? No apologies for this, but one, she's a woman. Okay, now this is Russia. Okay, Russia is still back in the 70s or 80s.
They are.
So if you want to deal with Russia, because they've got loads of women in their Politburo, well, it's not the Politburo anymore, but they've got loads of women in their cabinet and loads of women in high-ranking positions, haven't they? So if you want to send a signal of strength, send a woman to Russia.
Put it this way: when Putin goes to karaoke, he sings, "This is man's world."
Yeah.
This is man's world.
Yeah, and that's the problem, because she's not going to be taken seriously by Russia. And is the US doing this deliberately?
I don't know.
Or are they just so woke that they think everybody else is?
Well,
see, that's the problem. I mean, you don't know what America's trying to achieve here, because I know it sounds misogynist, and it is, because you're dealing with a misogynist country, because Russia is back in the 80s. And if you go back to the 80s, women weren't in the positions of power that they are in today. So,
but you've got to remember also, we go back to Sochi. It doesn't just pertain to women here. When the mayor of Sochi was asked about LGBT people, he said, there are no gay people here.
None in Russia. No gay people in Russia.
No gay people here. No.
So yeah, I just don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's a good thing to do. Yeah, Margaret Thatcher, different ballgame. She wasn't an ambassador to anyone. She was the leader of the country, and she did rule with an iron hand. But then again, she wasn't an ambassador living in a misogynist country that was predominantly male dominated.
Well, exactly. They're just going to laugh at her.
Was male dominated.
They're just going to laugh at her. Anyway, let's move on to our next slide. Also, partly from Dagny Taggart, Florian Philpott, Philpott, leader of the French Patriots Party, called Zelensky a madman. Now Zelensky demands fighter jets and long-range missiles from the West. How long will we follow this madman until the world nuclear war? It's a good question.
That's a good question.
Well, I alluded to it on this morning's propaganda watch. You know, I believe it was the Financial Times. Lockheed Martin upping production of the F-16s, presumably for Ukraine. And it doesn't make any sense, because this is what is going to happen. And I'll expand on what I said this morning. War is going to be declared on the West if we don't slow the fuck down. It's as simple as that. And we're all going to be pushed into it. Me, you, everyone, our kids. Do you want that? Do you want that? Because I certainly don't. What about you, John?
No, I don't want it either, Ben. I really don't. But maybe Nancy does.
Well, she says, thank you, POTUS, for your leadership working with other nations to support the Ukrainian people as they fight back against Russian aggression. Abrams tanks and additional weaponry reaffirm America's commitment to stand with Ukraine until the victory of democracy over autocracy. Now, I would say it's autocracy versus autocracy. When you ban and jail the opposition party, you are not a democracy.
That's not even a autocracy. That's a fucking dictatorship. That's what that is. Right. So I'm going to put myself on the fence here, right? And you might not like what I'm going to say, but it's time. It's time for the West to do one of two things, right? Either put up and shut up, right? Take the action or don't, right? So you either do that or you abandon Ukraine. And I think the sensible move would be to abandon Ukraine, because if you go any other route, we are going to end up in at least a conventional war with Russia and possibly some kind of nuclear conflict, whether it be limited or not, right? So no one is going to win from any kind of conflict between Russia and the West, apart from maybe China, right? So we're not going to do ourselves any favours. I think it's time the West to step away from Ukraine and stop this nonsense right now. If we don't, we're going to get a bloody nose.
Yeah, and I'm with you 100%. I've got kids to think about, and this is being absolutely selfish, right? And I don't care if this is being absolutely selfish. I don't want my kids going through a war because of the egos of people in Washington and Downing Street. I don't want my kids being put in that situation. These people, take away Zelensky being a madman for a minute. The people in Downing Street, the people in Parliament, the people in Washington and the Congress and the Senate, they're the madmen that keep poking the bear.
Yeah.
They're poking the bear, and they're doing it on your behalf without your consent. And do you remember the Iraq War? Do you remember it was illegal, obviously.
Yeah.
Tony Blair is a war criminal. I'm quite happy to say that.
Both of them were, weren't they?
Yeah. It's going to happen again.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is going to happen again. If they continue down this path, it is going to happen again. And I'm going to go further. If the West don't take any decisive action, right, if they just keep dribbling tanks across or whatever, and keep dribbling munitions and weapons and things to keep this ticking over, to keep this proxy war going, then I think Putin needs to do one of two things. And it's the same choices: either puts up and shuts up and brings a hammer down hard right now and ends it. Just end it, because he can do that. You know, people will suffer, people will die unnecessarily if he does it, but in the long term, it stops any dubiety, it stops any kind of nonsense. It gets the job done, and that's it, finished, right? The second thing he can do is he can shut up and retreat. I don't think he's going to do that, because Russia historically has never had a reverse gear. Putin has never had a reverse gear. Even the old Soviet Union never had a reverse gear. So I don't think he's going to do that. But
they have an ego.
They do. So let's see what happens. But it's time for someone to put up and shut up, because this is just going to drag on and on and on. And America's sending them 30 tanks, but they're not getting there till next year. People think these tanks are arriving tomorrow. They're not getting there till next year. People can't drive them because, your average Ukrainian has trouble peeling spuds, right? And they're getting these American tanks that are probably all singing, all dancing to a degree, i.e. 30 years ago. But they're going to need some kind of training on how to drive these things and how to operate them and how to fire the guns, especially that Leopard thing, because that looks quite technical. It's stabilised gun and everything. I bet there's more to it than just turning it on.
I'm just worried, and I look at the situation I look at the situation and I think this isn't, as horrible and as selfish as this sounds, this isn't our fight. This isn't our fight. And
100%, Ben. I'm 100% with you. It's not our fight. It never was our fight. We've always said from day one that it wasn't our fight, and
But
that's
look
why
at our media.
That's why I'm saying we should step away. This is not something we should be embroiled in.
Well, Beats Crates says, oh yeah, Ben, I've been loving the new morning papers videos. Keep it up. I need that in the mornings. Thank you very much.
Cool.
But I'm alluding to that here because look at the phraseology and the language being drip fed through the media. Obviously, they're being told to say they're now using the term allies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Allies are coming, and
Yeah.
it invokes World War II, doesn't it?
Oh,
it invokes the fact
yeah.
that we are at war. We're not at war, but if we don't stop this nonsense, we bloody well will be.
Well, Germany's at war. Germany have said it. Germany said they're at war with Russia.
What?
Yeah, the German defense minister said they are at war with Russia because they are supplying kit to Ukraine to defend them, and effectively they are at war with Russia.
But how long until Putin does just, put up and say, right, that's it, I'm declaring war on all of you bastards?
Well, I don't think he wants to do that, but
he's being pushed in that direction.
I know, and you know what is all these warmongers like Julia Hartley Brewer, I mean, all these warmongers that are pushing this. Careful for what you wish for, because this isn't going to work out the way you think it is. This is not going to benefit us, and like the industrial military complex are rubbing their hands in glee because look at Lockheed Martin with their F-16s. What are they saying? They're saying we'll give F-16s to anyone who gives their F-16s to Ukraine. No, they won't. They won't give you F-16s. They will sell you new ones, right?
Yeah. Because
they want to sell you new ones. They want to make lots of money, and this is they're all
war?
creaming their pants.
I mean, the people who make the bandages make the bullets. It's
as
simple as that.
Yeah,
war is good.
That's it. Yeah.
War is good for the military-industrial complex. War is good for them. It's good for business. And it's good for the media. It's great for the media, right? It's good for business for the media. But it's the people it's not good for. You, me, our kids, our grandkids, our brothers, sisters, wives, husbands.
Yep.
That's who it's not good for. And we're being dragged down. It's just like the last 2.5 years, right? I can make that juxtaposition because in the last 2.5 years, many of us said, we don't want to do this. We don't want to agree to that. We don't want to abide by that. But we were dragged down with the ship. And once again, we are all being dragged down with the bloody ship.
Yep, we are.
Right, let's move on.
Well, Steve Barclay here. And he is the health minister, isn't he? I could never keep up with him. I think he's the Minister of Health, is he?
I honestly don't know.
I think he is. I'm sure the troll room will keep us right. So, Steve Barclay says we are changing the COVID vaccination programme for 2023 after advice from the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunisation. Now, do you remember when they got advice from the JCVI early doors in the pandemic about not vaccinating certain groups of people? And they didn't take that? Why are they taking their advice now?
We know why.
Yeah, okay. So the basis is that they are going to stop the current providing the booster on the 12th of February.
Yeah.
And then they will consider a new booster in the autumn of 23 for people at higher risk. And that's it at the moment.
So what you're telling me is they're stopping the jabs.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be stopped for the under 50s, but it looks like they're going further.
Yeah, it looks like.
They are stopping the jabs.
Yeah.
I want to know what that advice was.
Good point. I think that's something you'll never see. No.
Greg says not at all. They're stopping the boosters, not the jabs. Yeah, but we're pretty much on the boosters.
Oh
now,
no, I think they're pretty much stopping the jabs as well, because I think they'll incorporate them into the flu jab, but you can't. I think after this finishes, I think you won't be able to go and get your starter 2 anymore.
Well, that will be interesting.
Yeah.
Greg says they are still advocating the first two for anyone over 5. It's just the boosters for people over 50.
I think they might have changed it.
We will have to look deeper into it,
Yep.
but, you know.
Anyway, so STV News tweeted
That's
this
your lot.
and reported this. Yeah, Scottish Television News. A transgender woman has been found guilty of raping 2 women when she was a man. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, to me, that's as far as mainstream media goes, that's a fairly accurate summation of what occurred.
I agree.
Right? Okay. So Austin Sheridan, who is an SNP councillor, I believe, in Glasgow City Council, it's disgusting that the STV have posed this article in the way they have. It's awful that as a result, trans people, in particular male to female, will get backlash from this and in harm's way. What an absolute disgrace. STV should be utterly ashamed of themselves. Well, what is he taking from this that I'm not? I don't understand how this how this report from STV is in any way being untruthful or putting people in harm's way.
By reporting what appears to be the facts.
Well, as far as I'm aware, they are the facts. Now, there are certain things that need to be pointed out. One, the person who is now trans only started transitioning after they'd been caught.
Yeah, during their trial, wasn't it?
Yes. So,
during their trial.
If anything, STV are wrong because, well, no, they're right, because she was found guilty of raping 2 women when she was a man. And that's true, because it was only during the trial that the transition started.
And I believe the transition occurs of it consists of a wig and some fake boobs. I think that's what the transition is to this point, and some clothes.
Yeah, there's no surgery or anything involved. Now, the other thing is, this person has been incarcerated in Corton Vale, which is a women's prison in Scotland.
Yes.
But right, okay, so here's the nuances, right? Because Sturgeon has come out and said that she
person
will not
be
be held in Corton Vale. But newsflash, no one's going to be held in Corton Vale because it's getting closed for refurbishment.
Okay.
Now, what Sturgeon hasn't said is where this person will be held, because she's not said they'll be held in a male prison.
Which they should be.
Which possibly they should. Well, they did the crime as a man. Should they not serve the time as a man?
Well, I can give you. I have a prediction. And I should make a Ben's predictions intro, really, shouldn't I?
Yeah. Yeah, go on.
But I have a prediction that this man, or now woman, should we say, or trans woman, I will make that distinction, trans woman. If released from prison at any point, when released from prison, will all of a sudden become a man again.
Well, I think you may be onto something there. And speaking of being onto something, if you remember yesterday, right, we said that there was studies coming out saying the Northern Hemisphere was going to be plunged into a cold spell until 2050.
Yeah.
You know, a nigh-on ice age, right? And then this comes out today from Daniel Schmidt, who says, contrary to common claims, climate models have a fairly good track record.
Fuck off!
Right, but even better.
Sorry about swearing.
Right. So this analysis compares model predictions from as early as the 70s with actual temperature trends. Right. So now what NASA is saying is study confirms climate models are getting future warming projections more accurate. Now, if that's the case, then does that mean that we are heading for a cold spell? Because if future model predictions are more accurate, then surely that gives more credence to the fact that we may be in a ice age until 2050.
I better start wrapping up warm, folks.
Yeah, careful for what you wish for. Yeah.
Careful for what you wish for. And once again, I see more viewers than likes. And if that situation doesn't change immediately, we are going to have to send the boys round.
Yep. We will send the boys round.
Vaughn's in the chat now. He's a Cockney, and he's got, boys, we got this. I will send him.
Send him fast. Send him hard. Right.
Do you know what? We've got to get a voice button of like, we got this, boys.
Yeah, I can get that. I've got him recorded somewhere saying that. Yeah. I'll see if I can get that. If he won't do it for us, I'll get it. Right.
Yeah.
Moving on. Countries the US has bombed since World War II. That should read not one or three. It should read World War II. Right. Mm-hmm. But that's an impressive list. They've not been quiet, have they? And you know how I always say that the US has put boots on the ground and installed freedom in 201 countries, 202 possibly now.
We're bringing you some freedom.
We're bringing you some freedom, right enough. So so people say that Russia is a terrorist state. One has to question the actual status of the USFA. When you look at that, if you were one of those countries... How many
countries has Russia bombed since
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Afghanistan, and I think there's a couple of African ones, but they helped out in Africa, but not an awful lot. Nowhere near as many as that.
Now, we're not suggesting that the US is a terrorist state, but...
No, I am. I am. There's no other way to describe it. If a country goes about bombing that amount of countries, right?
Yeah.
Under the pretend, auspices of it being legal, does that really make it a not terrorist state? Really? Because that's a hell of a lot of freedom to install, is it not?
I imagine as the bombers come along, all the villagers that get bombed here is born in the USA as they're getting delivered their freedom.
Yeah.
My God.
I mean, it's just you've got to watch where you are, don't you? You really do.
Yeah, we do. And looking at that, we are slightly behind. So
we're slightly behind. Well, here's a short one.
Is Henry joining us today?
No, Henry's coming back next week.
Okay, so Henry's gone to film his next Netflix special, has he?
Yes, he has. He's been otherwise engaged, and he'll be back next week. He assures me he'll be back next week. We'll see how it goes, but I have to take him at his word.
Yeah, well, okay. John Stevens, grim polls for Rishi Sunak tonight.
People polling, 50% for the Labour and 21% for the Tories. YouGov, brackets sponsored by Nadeem Zahawi, close brackets, 48% for Labour and 26% for the Tories. And Focal Data HQ, 49% Labour, 24% Tory. I think that says it all. I think it says it all.
All I'm going to say is Rishi Sunak better not be the man to lead them into the next election, or they will come true.
I mean, we've got a short out there, we've got a video out there. Rishi Sunak will sink this country.
Yeah, he absolutely will. And I can just imagine he's sitting in the office every day, number 10, going, I wish Boris was back. I wish Boris was back. I wish Boris was back.
I don't know what to do.
The European countries, you'll need a €7.
No, you don't. That's a misinformation. From which money of all people? Misinformation. You don't need a £7 visa. You need a £7 visa waiver.
Yes,
which takes you 10 minutes to get online. Much like it. I mean, it's even easier than getting an ESTA for the States. So it's a visa waiver, not a visa, right? And you don't need it, even if you were traveling around Europe. Once you got one for a country in the Schengen area, you don't need a separate one for every other country that you would intend to visit.
No.
So
because once you enter the Schengen area, you're in the Schengen area.
Exactly. So this is just anti-Brexit bullshit, and people need to stop banging on about it. Look, we did it. It's done. It's a done deal. Live with it. Before, you used to have to use your passport to go to Europe. You still need to use your passport to go to Europe. You try going to Europe without a passport. Yeah, technically you could do it when we were part of Europe, technically, right? With a photo ID, a government issued photo ID. And what other government issued photo IDs do you have if you can't drive, right? And you don't have a passport? How many people have got a government issued photo ID?
Well, anyone who's got a driver's license.
No, if you can't drive.
Oh yeah, sorry.
If you can't drive and you don't have a passport.
Well, nobody.
Well, yeah, there you go. So you needed a passport to go to Europe.
Yeah, but we always did. We
Yeah, I know.
always did. Even when we were part. I mean, we couldn't even do it on just a driver's license.
Yeah.
We had to have a passport to enter the European Union.
Well,
even though we were part of it,
technically you did not need a passport. Technically.
Well, people used passports. Passports were what we
I know,
used.
because you needed a government issued photo ID.
And there we go. And we that's still how I'm entering France at the moment. I just turn up at the window and douche. And if I've got to get essentially an ESTA, which is a waiver, then fine.
Yeah. So here we go. The Earth core has stopped spinning and may have reversed direction. Now, this was published on the 25th of January, but the research that they're talking about came out 10 years or more ago.
So why are they reporting it now? Oh, I know why.
In fact, it wasn't even 10 years ago. I think it was like 20 years ago. It was like 1990s. Fear, yeah.
Be afraid.
It's like, you know, it's another example of what we were saying yesterday about science not having a clue what it's actually doing.
No,
science is completely flawed. And speaking about science, is it not time we did some praying? Because we haven't prayed to science for ages.
Shut up already. It's science.
The science.
The science.
Yes, so moving on.
Moving on to sharp hike in Mayo's mortality
Now,
rate.
this is not mayonnaise. This is County Mayo in Ireland. No, it's not just the UK. This is Southern Ireland, I believe. So the local paper here is reporting that County Mayo has experienced a surge of deaths in 2022, with the local coroner saying it was the largest number of deaths reported to him and the largest number of inquests he's held in 33 years as a coroner. This is not normal, he says.
There's that number again.
Yeah, 33, yeah. But not normal, but doctors are baffled.
No, they're not.
Baffled.
I'm gonna break it down for you in several parts, in several stages. First of all, the reason that this is happening is because you closed your frigging health service for 2.5 years. You stopped diagnosing cancer, you stopped diagnosing heart conditions, you stopped diagnosing strokes, you stopped treating these things. People have been walking around, cancer ticking time bombs, not being able to get treatment because they didn't know they had cancer. Second of all, you know what it is!
Yes, you do.
You know what it is!
Anyway.
You didn't need to push the button.
I know, but I felt like it.
That's the first time I've done that live for a while, though.
It is, and it was impressive. It was
yeah, I know. Even Jay Franklin says in the chat, you know what it is. He actually says, you know what it is. But
yeah, okay.
We'll let it go.
So now you know. Well, so if Ukraine is going to need 750 billion for reconstruction, Larry Fink, and we know who Larry Fink is, don't we? CEO of BlackRock.
Yep.
So that 750 billion goes to Ukraine. Ukraine then send that 750 billion back. It's called money laundering.
It's what FTX were doing.
Yeah. And basically, it's a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, well, we've said it before and we'll say it again. Bar Russia, pretty much all fiat currency is a Ponzi scheme. It is a scam.
Yeah, and this is why they don't want Russia to win, because if Russia wins, Russia gets to rebuild Ukraine. And they don't get to make any money.
No, and it's all about the dollars and cents, baby.
Money, all about money. Follow the money. Money train, choo-choo.
Is this next slide a parody?
This next slide is a parody. And I've put it up because more and more people seem to be tweeting it out and sharing it as real. This is not real.
I didn't think it was.
No, so one, the site that it was initially posted on, that ignify.com, is a satire site, right?
Yeah.
Secondly, the actual article wasn't called that, it was called something else. The author that made the actual first article has a list of everything that's published on the site that this purports to be on. That article's not on that site, and it's not in his list of publications. It's a lie. It's gaslighting. And it's another example of, I don't like to use the term sides, but one side being wrong as much as the other.
Yeah, well, it's misinformation. I don't really like to use that term, but misinformation, and we warn you about this all the time. We point out the misinformation on all sides.
Yep.
Right? We are filthy, dirty fence sitters, really.
Yep.
We like to know what the truth is, and that's basically all we want to know. The truth.
And
this is not the truth.
It's not the truth. So the site that was posted on this satire website encourages women to smell their poop to be more inclusive to trans women. 9 reasons wine is better than a boyfriend. 6 reasons why having a toddler is like being in a cult. Now, while there may be some element of truth in any of these things, the site is dedicated to satire.
It's like the Babylon Bee, which is a satire site, right?
Yeah.
So people, please stop just seeing something on Twitter and then going, "Oh my God, this affirms my belief. I'll share it as true."
Yes, exactly. And Jay's
critically.
Right. Jay's right. He's been telling everyone, or he has been telling everyone since day one. And yeah, you're right. You're bang on.
Yeah.
Bang on.
We're just here to let you know. We're here to cut through the bullshit, try and have a laugh. Yeah, we get angry, but we just want you to be able to look at something critically, think, maybe that's bullshit. I mean, just look at the state of it. And yeah, anyway, let's carry on, shall we?
So, Julian Sands, British actor.
Yep.
Went missing in the California hills.
Right.
Reported missing by his wife a week ago. This is actually older than that. I just thought I'd follow up on it because that's now 11 days he's been missing, and his family are now saying, yeah, we're pretty much accepting that he's dead.
We're now looking for a body.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So nobody knows what happened. We haven't found him yet.
Do you think he went into the woods to be alone?
I don't like to make any kind of determination until we actually find him.
Well, exactly.
It's just quite sad.
It is very sad.
He's just wandered off, and he's now eaten by a mountain lion is quite possible. Mountain lions are large cats. They're big, a lot bigger than your domestic tabby.
You're absolutely right.
And do a lot more damage.
I like some of the stuff he's been in.
Yeah, leaving Las Vegas.
He's one of those faces, isn't he? He's one of those faces.
You go, I know that guy, but I can't place it.
I know that guy. Yeah, he's one of those actors. We cast him for the kind of weird-looking British guy. You've gone dead silent.
What? Weird-looking British guy. I was just.
Well, that is it.
Yeah. I was just reading what Greg had written in the chat. Mr. Sands' theatrical code for a fire in the building. I can see that. Sand bucket, that kind of thing. Is it something to do with that?
Beats crates of pines that he was got by the predator.
Yes, I know. I think we're now stepping into the realms of possibly fantasy.
Speaking of fantasy.
What's going on here then? I don't know if it's a Photoshop job or whatever, but I think it was worth it. Cat Slater from EastEnders spotted in Ukraine. Would you look at this thing of that? Is this him celebrating these leopards coming?
I don't know.
I think it's. It tickled me. You can perhaps tell. I like that one. Shall we move on?
I'm applauding our next slide.
So the residents have actually blacked out the new name anyway.
I mean, this is obviously a Photoshop job.
Oh yeah,
still.
but it's an absolute cracker, isn't it? It's a cracker.
Really...
That's inspired.
He hasn't had a gaff this week.
No, he hasn't. But while we're on that subject, maybe we should zip to the old man. So, my thought of the day, it came to me early this morning, my thought of the day, and it came to me in regard to Ukraine and Russia and the conflict ongoing there. And I thought, you know, as the West stands by, it's like watching a bully pound on the small, insignificant guy. And the bully's got like a 2x4 and he's beating the hell out of this poor, insignificant small chap. And you stand up and you sidle over to the small chap and you hand him a cocktail stick and say, "There you go, mate. That'll even it up." That's my thought of the day.
Interesting. I really am quite proud of my little intros. I think they're great.
Yeah, I think they are too.
And also, I would like to once again thank Adam behind the scenes, because he provided the base footage for the intro to the Propaganda Watch.
Yep.
And I'm glad that people are enjoying that, because it will be every Monday to Friday. I will do a Propaganda Watch. There won't be one on Saturday because I'm not filming one after All In. It's as simple as that. And then we'll do the Sunday papers as well.
Yep. Okay, moving on.
I saw this.
So, he was just going to get a kebab, wasn't he?
And they
Come on, I want a kebab.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
They say they went and rescued him, right?
Uh-huh.
I think they thwarted him.
Oh, you stopped him getting a kebab?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
they probably did.
You know, the term cockblock comes to mind right here. I think that poor Silpa, all he wanted was his kebab. He was on his way. He was nearly there. And then they come along and rescue him. Deliver him some freedom.
Yeah, there you go.
Ooh.
And actually, Steve Irwin's going to leave us with his thought of today. The dear departed Steve Irwin, who was always a bit of a laugh when he was presenting these wildlife shows. And,
there's that rare and indigenous croc again.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to do, lads. I'm going to stick me fucking head in its mouth. Hey!
Yeah, I mean, he was a bit of a wild character and a good laugh. I quite enjoyed his entertainment, and he's left us with a powerful and sobering thought.
Yeah, he said, crocodiles are easy, mate. They try to kill and eat you. People are harder though. Sometimes they pretend to be your friend first.
Well said, Steve. Well said, mate.
Well said indeed. And yeah, our dearly departed crocodile hunter. I did enjoy his stuff. I thought he was an absolute nut bar.
Oh,
and do you know what? I like nut bars because nut bars can't be controlled.
Yep, absolutely. So there we go. That brings us to the end.
That brings us nicely.
Have you
to
anything
the end,
that you wish to add?
I would just like to add that the people that come along to these shows, day in, day out, I really appreciate every single goddamn one of you. And we need your help to just expand our reach. We need you to hit that share button. We need you to hit that like button. If you're new here, please subscribe. But boys and girls, you guys are everything. You make us do what we do. We don't do it without you. We do it for you. We do it with you. And you get all of the extra stuff. Also, Saturday night, we will raise the vibrations. And we will have a live music show. Just for you. And a little bit for me, because obviously I'll open the personal donations. And if you want to make a song request, I might charge you £100. But no, I won't. But a little bit of a fundraiser, a little bit of fun, a little bit of joy. Saturday night, 8 p.m. So, John, over to you.
Why, thank you, Ben. And with that, I'd like to thank everyone that's attended us tonight. Today, on this episode 193 of Chasing Dissent Live.
Don't forget to support us at patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, or indeed Kofi, ko-fi.com/Chasing Dissent. Forgot to say that. There we go.
What he said.
Yeah. It's like the small print, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the small print on a medication sheet. So yes, if you like your medication in the form of John and Ben, then it's been great. For you.
You can see the riding on the pavement. Young kids that growing up in basements. Online, a whole new generation. I'ma make mine, so you better go take it. Always they need a new replacement. Decentralized, can't contain it. We're changing lives, yeah, upgrading. Call it suicide of the older generation. Too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We